Hello, do you have driving anxiety, yet you've got no idea where it came from? Are you baffled as to what's causing it, and you've racked your brain and you just can't think of where this problem has come from? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain more about why that is and why it's so confusing. My name's Paul, and I work online with people all over the world to help them overcome their fear of driving. And one of the most common things people ask me, both in sessions and in the comments, is people say, look, you always say that driving anxiety is caused by something from my past. It's caused by a past event. But it isn't, because I've got no idea what it is. You won't know what this event is, because if you knew what it was, you wouldn't have the problem. But people understandably say, look, there's nothing in my life that's ever happened that I don't know about. Well, that is where you are very wrong. I want you to answer this question honestly. Were you ever 3 years old? Now, if you're honest, you've answered yes. There was a time in your life when you were 3 years old. Can you remember everything that happened when you were 3 years old? Can you remember anything that happened when you were 3 years old? Now, most people say they can't remember anything of when they were 1, 2, or 3. I mean, how could you? But did it happen? Yes. See, so the point of that is that there has been a time in your life when you were alive and you existed and you were going to sleep and waking up and eating and doing stuff like you are now, but you are completely unaware of that time in your life. And even at the ages of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, you are taking things in. In fact, even though I'll say, even at those ages, that's when you're the most receptive, because up to the age of 7, your mind is more receptive than any other age. So the point of this is that when you're saying, I don't know what this event is, you keep saying there's an event from my past, and there isn't one. There is, but you've got no idea what it is. If you ask your parents about things that you did when you were a child, and they'll probably say, oh, do you remember you always used to go and like to play on those swings in the playground? And you're thinking, what? What swings? I don't remember that. But your parents have a vivid memory. Sometimes they'll even show you photos of when you were a child, and you'll think, I don't remember being there. I don't remember wearing those clothes. See, so the point is, we all have lots and lots of stuff in our life that we can't remember. And when people say to me, it isn't about a past event because I can remember everything, you can't. I can guarantee you probably at least 90% of your life is hidden away in your subconscious. So think of it like this. Imagine that you go into a small shop, and let's say the shop is about 30 feet square and have got lots of books. That's like your conscious mind. That's the limit of your conscious mind. But then you ask if you can go to the subconscious section. And they open a door in the back of this room, and it opens to a library which is 100 square miles. So it's 100 miles high with books stacked 100 miles in the air for 100 miles in each direction. That is the difference between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. You see, everything you ever do in your life, every day, every event is stored in your subconscious, but you can't access it normally. If you're thinking what's the cause of this problem, you've got no chance. You are never going to access it. I mean, think about it. Would you want to be able to access your entire life at one time? Can you imagine how crazy that would drive you to be able to remember every single day and everything that's ever happened? I'm glad that that stuff is shut away, because it would drive you insane to have access to all of that information all of the time. Another reason that you can't access this memory is because sometimes your mind locks it off. So sometimes it can be something so bad that your mind kind of thinks, right, I'm going to put that into a room and I'm going to lock it off, and you are never going to access that. Even if you go into hypnosis and use these techniques, you're not going to access it. And that's why sometimes, even with hypnosis, people say, well, I did it and I couldn't find it. Well, I don't want to worry you, but if you can't find it with hypnosis, it's normally for a good reason, which is your mind kind of locks it off in a room and it's saying, right, you're not going to get to that. I'm not going to allow you to access it. What you do about that is you have to go into more detail and kind of persuade your mind to open the door. And I've experienced this myself as a client and a therapist. So don't worry if you can't find the memory. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of convincing your mind to allow it to show. So you see, when you do therapy, we use methods that allow you to access that subconscious. And like I say, it's not about lying down. It's not about closing your eyes and imagining magical forests and counting yourself down a magical staircase. Yes, you can do that stuff, but that is not the best way of doing it. It's quite a slow way, and it's not the most effective way, and it doesn't work for many people. But there are many other methods you can use to access your subconscious mind. And just in case you don't believe in the subconscious, as I've mentioned in other videos, that's what controls your breathing, blinking, walking, even driving before you had driving anxiety. That's where you've got the problem. You see, it's gone from your subconscious to your conscious. So if people say, I don't believe in the subconscious, well, that means you can't breathe or blink or do anything without being conscious of it. So most people are way past that. It's widely accepted the subconscious exists. But there are still some people who say, well, I don't have a subconscious. Well, that means you're having to think every time you blink and breathe and walk, left foot up, right foot up, left foot up, right foot up, blink, breathe, blink, left foot. We all have a subconscious, I can promise you that. Now let's move on to the second part of this video, which is about what I said earlier, about people being confused. People have left comments on my videos saying, this is just so confusing, I don't understand any of this. Great, that means it's working. I want you to imagine that what you're thinking of when you're working out the cause of your anxiety, it's a bit like being on a map. Now you can walk around this map and you can go to all the places that you know and you're looking for something, but you won't find it because you're limited to your map. What happens is when you get to the edge of that map, think of it like being out and about, and you go to the edge of an area you know, and you start to go into the unknown. That's when you start to go out of the conscious into the subconscious. So when people say to me, your videos are really confusing, thanks, that's a massive compliment, because it means that I'm helping you go to a place you haven't been before. I'm confusing you, I'm stretching your thoughts, I'm pushing you to the edge of your map. And in sessions, I would push you off the edge of the map into the unknown, into your subconscious, which is where the solutions lie. Check out these videos on screen now, and if you want to work with me one-to-one online from anywhere in the world to overcome your fear of driving, contact me through my website, firstdrive.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.